tell. Cockerel, he's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell. Cockerel, leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around, always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel, the show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel, the show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tell Cockerel. It is Tuesday the 26th. Oh, excuse me, Tuesday the 26th of August. I hope that everybody's well, whether it's your morning, your afternoon, or your evening. It's week 2 competition results, and we will see what people and how people have scored this week in the 3 competitions, the 2 that we play online and our interactive one that we do live at 4 o'clock on a Friday, usually on a Friday. Which also means that you need to be a member to partake in the interactive one on a Friday. And the next predictions game show will be game week 3, which takes place this Friday, the 29th of August at 4 p.m, as it says on the ticker at the bottom. But what a way to start the week. Week 1 predictions, Tottenham got a home victory. Week 2 predictions, and I'm just talking Tottenham alone here, and I'm not looking at everyone else, but looking at week 2, Tottenham got another victory. Who would have known? I think it's been well documented. People have all talked about it since Saturday, because we were the early game on Saturday, and since Saturday, Sunday, Monday, yesterday, and today, I think that everybody has talked to Tottenham, Man City to death. Treasure the moments. I mean, we've often beat Man City, but treasure the moments. Whilst we're winning, we are seemingly somewhat happy. when results start turning, then we can see that seemingly we may not be as happy. And there's 6 days of that bloody transfer window to go. So people are going to be all over the place with the fact of the signings maybe coming in, not coming in. But we should start off and say hello to everyone. I'm going to try and make the show an hour long today. That's why I went early with the intro. So the intro went early, and I timed the intro to mean that we started the show at 4 on the dot. So you've got some housekeeping. God bless each and every one of you. Smash a like for the stream. It all helps. Subscribe if you're new here, and I appreciate each and every one of you, like I always do. Shemtam is here. Afternoon, Mr. Bossman, Jose. I hope you're well, sir, and had a nice 3-day weekend. It's been cool going out, and that's why I can only do it now because I'm going out with my family. We're taking the girls out for a meal because they got their A-level results last week, and it's the first time that the 4 of us, my wife and my daughters, can be together because they also work. So off to get out and do that straight after this. So I think we've got a table booked for 5:30, so I have to be off here at 5 o'clock. You have Ryan's in the house. He says, big up, Jose. Are you going to show the fantasy football as well? I do all 3, Ryan. I do all 3. I go in order of Predict the Prem, fantasy football, and then the interactive predictions. So all will be on there and all will be revealed. Ian Meth is here. Good afternoon. Ian says, hi, all bis to Galatasaray. It's interesting that bis to Galatasaray, Ian, because supposedly Bissouma is after getting an English passport and he has to do 1 more year here to get a English passport. So he said that he wanted to stay in the Premiership in order to do that. So it'd be interesting if he went to Galatasaray, because then his thoughts process about getting the passport would have gone out the window. Ryan G says, good afternoon, Jose. Good afternoon, Ryan, sir. I hope you're well. Ian Meth says, look, hit the like button. That'd be good. Daz is here, says, hello, Jose. Chat. I've had a mare this week in predictions. Have you? All be revealed. Jack's here, says, good evening. How have you been? I'm good, Jack. I hope you are well, sir. Nice to have you here. And then we've got Ryan T says, 2 mares in a row for me, Top Spurs, mate. Drooler is here. Good afternoon. Drooler says, afternoon, Jose and the Cockerel crew. Good afternoon, Drooler. I hope you are well. Archer's here, says, hello, Jose and chat. Good afternoon, Archer, sir. I hope you are well. And Paige is here. Says, afternoon, peeps. Afternoon, Paige. Right. We're going to start with, like we normally do, we start with Predict the Prem. And this is the interactive game. And do you know what? My housekeeping is absolutely poor, because what I should be doing is putting a, you'll have to bear with me a second. I'll talk while you're doing it. You've got Drula saying, what's Drula saying? So bear with me a second. Oh, that one. Let me highlight that. So Drula is saying it's a loan deal for Biss. He'll still be under us. Yeah, but he's not in the country, I think. I'm not sure how it all works out with immigration. My wife used to work in immigration. I'm not sure how it all works out, but I thought that from my understanding, he needed to do another year here. If he can do that just by being loaned out, then so be it. But yeah, it's interesting how the mighty have fallen. His stock has certainly gone down. But we seem to be the graveyard for Galatasaray. We've sent many a player over to Galatasaray. So we are a graveyard for them, is what I was going to say. Right, just going to the Fantasy Football League, just getting this sorted out now, and then I will be with you guys. So copy that one and then go back to the league itself. Right, so the first game that we're going to talk about is the Predict the Prem. I'm going to give you the results for this. Paste that one. So we're just faffing about. Right, so Jack Spurs says, my fantasy is messing up. I don't want to talk about it. Jess is here, says, afternoon, Jose in the chat. Good afternoon, Jess. I hope you are well today. So Predict the Prem. I'm going to put it in the link. The link's going to go in the chat for it, for Predict the Prem. Some of you have entered, some of you haven't, but if you do, it's all interactive. It's all online. You don't have to see my face in order to do this, but I always update with the scores. So the scores are as follows for this week, or not the scores, but the table for Predict the Prem is as such. Let me have a look. There we go. Predict the Prem. So we currently have 50 players, but out of 50 so far, only 23 have predicted. And the leader is yours truly. Yours truly is the leader. I have 33 points. Closely followed by Darren, who I believe is Darren Reynolds. Oh, no, it's Razzle Dazzle. I think Razzle Dazzle. It's Foley is on 22. Graham, our very own Spurs GCTV, is on 19. Shem, you're up there. You're fourth, Shem, on 17 points with a better goal difference than Kevin Clark, who's fifth. Vindaloo is sixth. Fiona seventh. Neil is eighth. Sir Rob Belcher's ninth. And then you have Archer 10th, Carl 11th. Daz is 13th. Jess 14th. Scott Colliver is 15th. Paul G, new entry, because he's only done 10. So is a new entry. So Paul G's only taken part this week because he's only done 10 games. New entry at 16. Side Dancer, new entry at 17. Then you've got Ed M, Ryan, Chris Peters, Daz Reynolds has only done 1 week. I think it might have been this week. Patrick O'Donnell did last week. And then you have Quezza Lee there. So Razzle Dazzle saying it's rigged. You can't be rigged because it's online. It's online. You've got to do it online. Archie says, Jose, seriously, how do you do it? How do I do what? Ed M's there says, afternoon, Jose, in chat, have I been crowned champion yet? How do I do what? If anyone wants to enter, you're more than welcome to enter. In the chat, you've got the link and the code, and it's all interactive. Let me see if I can look at the predictions. Predictions. These are the predictions for this week. This week, the games are only on Saturday and Sunday. Has it got my actual predictions? There's my actual predictions for last week. My actual predictions are there. I got the Burnley Sunderland result correct. So I got the Everton Brighton result correct. And in other games, because you get plus and minuses for the amount of goals that you put in. So with the pluses and minuses, I've ended up quite well this week. But that was me last week. Obviously, I haven't done this week's yet because week 3 is there. And I haven't done week 3, as you'll see. But it's interesting. It's a good game to play. I urge people to join. It's free of charge. And as I said, the link is pinned. So that's not pinned. I've put the link in there. So anyone wants to play the game there, you're more than welcome to do so. Predict the football. There you go, and there's the link. And we go on to the next game that we play. And I have to find the league and the next game that we play. Right. So we also do Fantasy Football League. Right. Predicting Everton and Brentford to win is genius, says Razzle Dazzle. Well, you've all got to go in here. Round table. Nick's here, says he's got 5 points. This is a different competition than I was thinking. I've not got to that competition yet. I'm just about to. But what I'm doing is I go in order. And I start off with Predict the Prem. And then I go on to Fantasy. And then after Fantasy, we go on to predictions. So, just put the link in there before I bring it all up. Right. I'm going to do a Bruno Fernandes and blame the referee for missing my score prediction so badly, says Adam. Archer says, I had a +5 at 1-2 in the Newcastle Liverpool game. That went to -2 when the score went to 2-3. Because as I said, Archer, it counts. It's the goals that you say you're going to score. If you get that correct, you get 2 points for each goal that you correctly predict. So if you're predicting, I had 2-0 for Everton. So predicting 2-0 for Everton, that would have got me +4 points. So +4 goal difference, because I get 2 for each one that the Everton scored. And because I predicted 0, and that came about, you get 1 point for predicting a 0 correctly. So that would have given me +5. So yeah, it's all swings and roundabouts. The season's young. It's only week 2. Right. Then we go on to fantasy football. Fantasy football is game 2 of the weekend that we do here, and we have 61 players playing, and some players came in for the first time this week. I only really talk about the ones that go up. I talk about the greens, people that have moved up. But Smithy's a new player this week. Destiny 5. Jack Spurs was a new player this week. And so was one more. Creme de la Creme. Jordan 2 Hoots. 2 Hoots was a new player this week. But then people that are on the up. Thomas the Frank Engine, Fiona Clark is up to 53rd. Marlon with Lace FC is up to 51st. Oops, that's overall. I'm doing that one wrong. Right, and then you've got page 1. Page 1. So we've got up to 51st. Ronnie is up to 50th with his 43 points this week. The next person that's moved up is Adam. Adam with St. Ephrem's has gone into 39th place with his 56 points this week. Young James has gone up with Don't Give Up FC. He's gone up into 37th with 52 points this week. Sanjiv with Dinks' Donkey has gone up to 36th with his 58 points this week. Glory over Greed for Archer, 53 points. Archer's gone up into 33rd. My other half, my wife, is up into 30th with those 67 points this week. Has pushed her into 30th. George with Cheese Becker has gone up into 28th with 54 points. Alfie with Dan Suing in the Dark is into 26th with 52 points. Sir Rob Belcher, Bilbao Hotspurs, has 51 points this week, has pushed him into 23rd. Luke from Spotlight on Spurs, 49 points this week, has got him into 23rd. Brian, with To Be Frank With You, with his 61 points, has gone into 22nd. Nathan Patis with his packet of sweets, 62 points, has pushed him into 21st. David Star Wars, with his 64 points, has gone into 20th. Ped, last year's winner and champion. West Ham United SC, with his 66 points, has gone up into 17th. Grant, that's Proper Minte, with his 54 points, has gone up into 14th. Jess, with her Spanner Army, her 67 points, has got her into 10th place. Darren, with his Sweet and Sour, 70 points, has got him up into 8th. Carl Simpson, with his Carl's Kill Shots, his 62 points have put him up into 6th place. Up into 3rd place is Phil Coys with Frank the Tank FC with his 78 points. And then our leader for the first 2 weeks, our leader remains Ryan Trestane with Thomas the Frank Eng with 54 points. So, yeah, so Ryan is leading. Ryan is leading this. Ryan asked me last week who's going to win this. You can never predict who's going to win fantasy because it can change. It can fluctuate week after week after week. It seems some people may have picked their triple captains. Where are you in the FPL, Ryan? I don't know because all I've done is the greens, the people that have moved up. Let me see where Ryan is. Ryan, I don't even know the name of your team. I'll have to find you. Ryan Griffiths, Ryan the Wanderer. You got 30 points this week. You're in 41st place, Ryan, out of 61 at the moment. It's still young. There are lots of chips to be played. It's still young. I mean, I looked at my wife's team. My wife got 67 points last week, but after the first game of the weekend, she had 30 points on Friday and only had 1 player. So looking at her team, look, she had João Pedro as captain. So she had 30 points after the first game of the weekend. Look at the goalkeepers. She had Pickford rather than Raya. Pickford picked up 15 points. but was on the subs bench. If she used her subs chip, she would have got a further 19 points on that, but she didn't use it. But there you go. Ryan is in the lead still for the second week. Ryan is up there. So well done, Ryan. Ryan's come in with number one again. Please, someone try and catch me. Go on, Ryan. That's fighting talk. And then that brings us to Edem says picking Arsenal players should be outlawed. I've sold Eze. Can't be having any of that lot to win the squad. It's a dilemma for you. It's a dilemma because if you want to win this competition, you've got to pick players from any clubs. You've got to put that aside and pick the best 15 in the squad that you can. If you're really down that and adamant that you don't want to have any rival players in, then just don't stick them in. You know, at the end of the day. Archer says, good week for triple captain on João Pedro, 1 goal and 2 assists. That was just a normal captain, Archer, 30 points. If you've done triple captain, you would have picked up 45 points for him last week. Jess says, I wasn't going to do the game, but I am now. I think it's on Amazon, just so I can wind Angus up. What game's on Amazon? I don't know. I don't know what game's on Amazon. But anyway, and then we come to what you all come here for, or a lot of you come here for. We come here for predictions. And the predictions league last week is as such. Let me take the banners out of the way. Oh, right, I need to take the banners out of the way. Right, is that the banner there? Yeah. I can't see. So, banners out of the way. Right. So, game week 1. So, sorry, game week 2. West Ham 1, Chelsea 5. Everybody on this first page predicted a Chelsea victory and picked up a point. Orange is 1 point. Green means you got the correct score. Everyone picked up 1 point on this page, apart from Jack Spurs, who said 2-0 for the home victory. So didn't get that right. But everyone else on the first page got a point. On the second page, everybody that predicted the game on the second page that got their prediction in had an away victory. So everyone scored a point. Nobody scored 3 points. No one predicted 1-5. There's a 0-4 there for Ryan Trestane. And was there a 1? There's a 0-4, 0-4, 0-4. There's a few 0-4s there, but it was 1-5. So game number 2, which I was quite surprised about. Game number 2, and I'll say why I was surprised. I was surprised that so many people did have confidence in Tottenham winning. It was Man City 0, Tottenham 2 in game 2. So our beloved Tottenham did a number on the Etihad again, and all the people on the page here that have got orange predicted a away victory, but no one got the 0-2. But you still scored a point if you're in orange. And on page 2, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people predicted the away victory, so they also picked up a point. Game number 3 was Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0. And all the people that have got an orange there predicted the Bournemouth victory, but didn't get the correct score. And then on page 2, the only person that predicted the correct score in this was Scott Colliver. Scott Colliver picked up 3 points for his 1-0 victory, and it's the first 3-pointer of the weekend. So well done, Scott Colliver, for picking the right score there. Oops, where we go. 4th game of the weekend was Brentford 1, Aston Villa 0. 2 people on the first page predicted a Brentford victory, and that was myself and Jack Spurs. So we both picked up a point each. And nobody predicted a Brentford victory on the second page. So we're the only 2 people that scored a point each, was Jack Spurs and myself. The 5th game was Burnley 2, Sunderland 0. And correct prediction came in from yours truly. Although Nita and Ryan Trestane also went for a home victory and picked up a point. No Brett May picked up a point, and so did Side Dancer. He's picked up a point as well. for the 2-0 victory. The next game ended up being Arsenal 5, Leeds 0. And on here, Jack Spurs and Ryan both predicted the correct scoreline. Everyone else in orange got a point for predicting an Arsenal victory. No Brett May also picked a 5-0 victory, got the correct scoreline. And everyone else on this page ended up getting a point because they predicted the Arsenal win. Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest next ended up a 1-1 draw. And for this, we've got Graham, Archer, Colin B, Shemtam, Razzle Dazzle, all correctly predicted the 1-1 draw. And on this page, Vindaloo and Ellie also predicted the 1-1 draw. Everybody else that predicted a draw scored 1 point in this game. The next game was Everton 2, Brighton 0. Correct predictions came in from yours truly, Ian Meth, Jack Spurs, and that was it. They're the only correct predictions. So for that, it's 3 points for a correct prediction. Everybody else in orange predicted a home win, but not by the correct score, so picked up a point. Fulham 1, Man United 1. Correct prediction came in from Alan. Ronnie also predicted a draw, and so did Shemtam. They picked up a point. Mikey and David Shear also predicted 1-1 draws and picked up 3 points. Ellie also predicted a draw, and so did no Brett May, but wrong result draw, but they all picked up a point. So well done to these people for getting points. And then the final game of the Premiership was yesterday night, was a 2-3 Newcastle versus Liverpool. Entertaining game. And for this, you can see the majority of people have got orange or have got a green. The people that correctly predicted the score in this game were Nita, Razzle Dazzle, correctly predicted the 2-3 scoreline. And that was it. Everyone else on the second page that predicted the away victory got a point. And everybody near enough the whole of the first page all predicted a home victory and got a point. And then we went into the bonus games. So it was Red Bull Salzburg 3, Lask 0. And the correct score lines for this game came in from Jose, Ian Meth, Archer, Ronnie, Ryan Trestane, and Vindaloo. All correctly predicted 3-0 victories. Everyone else in orange predicted the home victory, which I think covered pretty much most of the people. The next game, second bonus game, was PSV 4, Groningen 2. And the only person I think who got this correct was Kuva. Kuva went for a 4-2 scoreline, and there's Force picked up 3 points. Everybody on the first page went for a home victory, so they've all picked up a point, apart from Kuva, who's picked up 3. And then on the second page, everybody predicted a PSV. So everybody scored at least a point in that game. And then the last game of the weekend was, and this is where people were getting this wrong, it was Marseille 5, Paris 2. So it's not PSG. I never said Paris Saint-Germain. I said Paris. So some people have gone for draws and away victories, thinking it was, I think they must have thought it was Paris Saint-Germain when it was Paris FC. And I clearly said Marseille versus Paris. But most of the people that predicted in this game ended up scoring a point because Marseille ran away with it. Although it was tight initially, Marseille ran away with it. And on page 2, some people got points and picked up a point each. So that means, right, overall, the scores on the doors this week were Jose scored 17 points, man of the week. I tied last week with Vindaloo. We both had 13 each. We were men of the week. But this week, I'm on my own. I had 17 points this week. Ian Meth got 12. Graham scored 10. Chris Peters scored 7. Archer, double figures, 13. Colin B scored 9. Alan scored 9. Jess scored 7. Nita, double figures, 10. Daz Reynolds, Ed M and Drula all scored 7 points each. Ronnie, double figures, 10. Ryan G scored 6. Shemtam, double figures, 10. Neil scored 6. Razzle Dazzle, double figures, 12. Jack Spurs. So Jack, double figures, 13. James scored 7. Carl scored 8. Kuba got 9. Richard scored 6. Paul G, 7. Ryan Trestane, double figures, 12. No Brett May, double figures, 11. Ben Kaufman, 1. Tot Spurs, 7. Vindaloo, double figures, 11. Peter, 5. Ellie, double figures, 11. Mikey, 8. David Shear, 8. Scott Colliver, 7. And then we have Dekaru, Side Dancer, and Nick, 6. So they're the points for the week. And what are the chat saying? You got hello Jose from Scott Colliver. Good evening to you, Scott. Good afternoon to Ronnie who's just come in. Daz, big up Jose in chat. I hope you was well today. Just finished work, waiting for my lift to pick me up. Good afternoon, Daz. I hope you're well, sir. And Archer said I had to double check that Paris at first low. And Daniel says a lot of low scores. Is it? Because we're not doing as many games, Dan, this year. We're not doing as many games. And Dan says, I'm already smashing it. Is that what Dan said? Jose smashing it already. I'm sure that Dan, you could have come and tried to, wrestle the title back off me, Dan, seeing that we were so close last year. And that means that your league tables, ladies and gentlemen, we now have 40 players playing. It was 36, but a further 4 players played. Please ignore the yellow. The yellow is where I hadn't taken the colouring out. The ones that you really need to look for are the blues and the greens. The blue means it was your first week of playing. Green means you've moved up the table, right? So Ben, first week of playing, straight in at 40th. Paul G, first week of playing, has already gone into 36th place. And then the rest of the people are as it is. Right. 31st in blue, no Brett May. First week, scored 11 points, respectable. Scott Colliver in green means he's moved up to 26th. Ryan Trestane is up into 25th. It's played his first week and is already up into 25th. Tot Spurs up to 24th. Jack Spurs up to 23rd. David Shear is up into 19th. Mikey is up to 17th. Ellie has climbed to 15th. Ronnie is up to 13th. Nita is up to 12th. In the top 10, Colin Blackshaw has gone into 9th. Shemtam has gone into 8th. Alan has gone into 7th. Archer has gone into 6th. Ian Meth has gone into 4th. Razzle Dazzle has gone up to 2nd on goal difference. He's ahead of Vindaloo only by the alphabet. An R comes before a V because otherwise they've got identical scores. And yours truly is leading the way on 30 points. So yours truly leads the way. So there we are. That's your scores for the week, people. What are people saying about that? Nick says, I lost track of time Friday and had to go scramble around to get the ones I did get in. 4 o'clock this Friday is all you've got to remember. And the games this weekend, people, just so you remember, the games are being played on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah? Saturday and Sunday are the games that are being played this weekend. So the show will be on Friday at 4 p.m. But with the games, there won't be an early night game this weekend because there's no game on Friday. So it will be, kickoffs will be at 12:30, I think, Saturday. But there's 6 games on Saturday. There's 4 games on Sunday. So all the games from the Premiership will be played over the weekend. The 3 bonus games I select will obviously be played over the weekend as well. So, therefore, just make sure you tune in at 4 o'clock on Friday. And again, it's members. So whoever's got a members badge next to them will be able to predict. I will take your prediction. If you haven't got a members badge, I won't be taking your prediction. Daniel says, imagine if Vinders wins. He won't win. He ain't winning this. He's in Cuba, but he won't win this. Razzle Dazzle says, yeah, I like the alphabet rule. Drula says, I'm just warming up. So Drula's just warming up. Drula knows it's a long old season. Ryan says, I can't believe I'm still at the top of the Fantasy Premier. Ryan, you're not only at the top of the Fantasy Premier, but I've just showed you just there, your first week of predictions, you flew up the table. You flew up the table, my man. 40 people have entered, and you've already gone straight into 25th after just 1 week. And you're on 12 points. To get into 10th, you need 17. So, and you've only played 1 week. So you're not doing badly. It is early days, though, people. And what will happen is after this weekend, because the following weekend's an international break, we've got our first super duper bonus of the season where I will do 20 matches and there will be selections from other leagues because all the top leagues are closed off for the qualifiers for international weeks. So this is when for people that are playing for the first time, this is when I go and trawl leagues throughout the world and we end up playing with teams that you've never even heard of. So yeah, you should enjoy it. Right, Jack, you did really well this week, mate. You've done well as well. I can see you putting in the chat. You've done really well. Archer says, Archer, 100%. We can't have him winning any cost, mate. Drula has a plan, says Daniel. Shemtan says, I'm actually doing a Frank and starting the Fantasy and Prediction League strong. You are, Shemtam, you are. It's what confidence does for Shemtam. You started late, you learned, you understood the competition, and now that you know, you've worked it out, you've come here and you've done it. Ryan says, I did 3-2 Tottenham. Yeah. Ryan, where's 3-2? Ryan. I need to find Ryan. Okay, Ryan, I haven't given you a point. You're right, mate. So I can't change it on there. Oh, no, you didn't do 3-2 Tottenham. You did 3-2 to City. You see, you did 3-2 to City, Ryan. You did 3-2 to City. You didn't go 3-2 Tottenham. You went 3-2 City. Or because what you do when you do predictions, it's the home team score comes first, the away team comes second. So if people put down, I'm not saying you've done this, but if people say put down 3-0 Spurs, I'm taking the 3-0 because it's as it reads. It's the first team at home, the second team are away. I've got you down as 3-2 Man City here, and that's the score that I've taken. But it's a good start. Well done, you. It is a good start. So that is your scores on the doors for the week. I'm hoping that you're here Friday, and people that are watching this on catch up, enjoy the scores and come in on Friday, and have another go. Right, you're saying you said 3-2 Tottenham. Right. Did you say 3-2 or did you say 2-3, Ryan? This is what I'm trying to get. If you're going for the away team, their score comes second, so it would be 2-3, not 3-2. So if you've put down 3-2, then Man City are the home team. If you've put down 2-3, then Spurs are the away team. Archer says, yeah, in America they have it back to front with the home and away. They will say, e.g., Boston Bruins at the New York Rangers. Yeah, they do. And Adam McFarlane says, Kang from PSG, please. That would be nice, Adam. That would be nice. Let me just go and have a look. You just got to be wary when you do it. You always got to do it with the team. So if it's read out, so yesterday would have been Newcastle versus Liverpool. So if you put 2-3, it would be Newcastle 2, Liverpool 3. If you put 3-2, it would have been Newcastle 3, Liverpool 2. It's important that you do it that way. Let me have a look. Have I got show chat replay? So let me show the chat replay. So Wow, I don't know how far behind I am there. Patriot says Johnson ghosted against City as well. He certainly did, Patriot. He certainly did. He certainly did ghost in. Why am I not seeing the scores? All right, West Ham, Chelsea, Brentford, Villa. So who did I go for 3-0? Oh, that must have been the West Ham game. I went for 3-0. Bournemouth on Wolves 1. Bournemouth Wolves. That was after. Okay. City 2, Spurs 2. 3-0. All right, let me just have a look at if I can find anything here. West Ham 1, Chelsea 3. 2-1, 1-1, 2-1. Bournemouth Wolves. Let me go back a bit. Three, West Ham 1, Chelsea 3. Okay, I can't see it. Carl Simpson 2. Ryan G. Daz Reynolds 0-0 for Chelsea. Daz Reynolds. Right, Ryan, you said Tottenham 3-2. So you've done it the other way. You've done it the other way round, mate. I've just gone back and looked at the show. You should have put in 2-3. So you've done it wrong, and that's the rule that we play by, mate. Seems harsh on you, but that's the rule we play by. But still, you got an excellent score last week. Give him the point. Okay, Ryan, we're giving you the point because Drula has spoken. Right, let me just chalk it, turn it round. Ryan picks up a point. Let me go, put Ryan in there. So, Ryan, you scored 13 for the week because Drula said so. Where's Ryan? 7 and 13. Right, Ryan and Totspurs have moved around places, but Ryan still on a green. All right. Yes, it's always so. If you're going to say 2-0, 2-0 is the home team first. 0-2 is the away team. Right, let me just put it in there. Right, so I've changed it around because Drula said so. Where we got Daniel says, Ryan, it's a little lesson learnt, mate. Always check home team and away team first because Jose has to take that as your predictions. Well, I made the mistake. Yeah, Johnson ghosted in. Give him a point, said Drula, and I've done that. Daniel says, Ryan, it's easy mistake. Others has made it plenty of times before. But you now know. I did look, you said, but if you look back on Friday stream 3-2, but I've made the mistake. I've changed it. YouTube censors our free speech, says Eze with love hearts. Good afternoon to you, YouTube censor. Daniel says Jose has evens for me, being honest about the extra point you gave me last season. Will you give Ryan the point? It's the only one, and it won't happen again. I've done it. I've given him the point. He's been given it. He says okay, but I won't make that mistake again. It's been given the point, people. The public have spoken. The adjudicators have all spoken, and they've told me to give him the point, and I've done that. If he does it again, then he has to suffer the loss, says Drula. Look at this. We've got Els Bells in the house. Hello from sunny Cyprus. Jose always gets around, always talking Spurs wherever he's found, home or away, as your famous tune belts out. Ellie, I'll tell you guys a little story. Ellie rang me up, right, last week or just over a week ago. She rang me up. Oh no, she didn't ring me up. She left me a voice note. She left me a voice note and she sung the whole song to me. She sung the whole song and left it on a voice note for me for my intro and outro for the show. So well done, Ellie. Imagine celebrating beating a chairman with a football ambition or a sloth, says Archer. True say, true say. Right, people. That is it. That's your lot, because I've got to get going. So I can't hang about and chat today. May do a show tomorrow so we can have a chat. But yeah, at the end of the day, thank you very much for those watching. There's 36 still watching now. There's only 23 likes. Come on, guys. Smash a like for the stream. And yeah, Friday, 4 p.m. on Fridays. It says down on the ticker tape at the bottom, 4 p.m. on Friday, people. I'll look forward to seeing each and every one of you on Friday. So thank you very much, people. Enjoy the remainder of your day. And yeah, it's come on, you Spurs. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.